According to the Attorney General of the United States, she posted that the evidence shows Kilmar Abrego Garcia has repeatedly been identified as a member of MS-13 by a Maryland County police gang unit.
I object because she is misstating the record and the facts. That is not accurate, and therefore I object to that being introduced. There's no,
Mr.
sir, can
Chairman?
I explain? You let her go on.
Go ahead.
There is no final court order establishing that he's a member. Maybe he is, so you should put all that evidence before a judge, and if he is MS-13, he should be deported.
In the hearing, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to put into the record a statement from the Attorney General saying Kilmar Abrego Garcia had been repeatedly identified as a member of MS-13 by several sources. That move sparked immediate objections from members who pointed out that shouting a claim into a committee record isn't the same thing as a final court finding. And the room erupted as members argued over procedure and accuracy.
Mr. Chairman, sorry. I asked unanimous consent to enter for the record. One of our colleagues had asked if there was evidence if the so-called Maryland man Kilmar Abrego Garcia was MS-13. According to the Attorney General of the United States, she posted that the evidence shows Kilmar Abrego Garcia has repeatedly been identified as a member of MS-13 by a Maryland County police gang unit, which I introduced for the record, a reliable confidential informant, ICE officers, an immigration judge agreed, and an appellate board agreed.
Without
So you have, is that a court order? Well, I object.
No, she can put anything she wants in the record. She's not complying to your request, Mr. Goldman.
She asked for unanimous consent.
Okay, so you're objecting to her putting that into the record?
I am objecting subject to a clarification. Is that a court order that establishes that he's a member of MS-13?
An immigration judge agreed that he was MS-13.
For bail purposes.
An appellate board agreed.
Don't misrepresent.
Hold on.
A judge.
Everybody pause. We're going to let one person talk at a time. You ask a question. Answer the question, please.
According to the Attorney General of the United States, she informed the country that an immigration judge agreed that your Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, is MS-13. An appellate board agreed. ICE officers
are misstating
agreed.
what the
reliable
Mr. Goldman,
informant.
the clock is not yours right now. She has the floor. Please continue answering the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A Maryland County
She's not answering the question, sir.
No, she's going to answer the question, and then you can object to her answer.
Can you make sure that she answers the question?
Finish answer. You just said, please finish your answer.
A Maryland County police gang unit agreed that he's MS-13. A reliable confidential informant agreed that he's MS-13. ICE officers agreed that he's MS-13. An immigration judge agreed that he's MS-13. An appellate board agreed that Kilmar Abrego Garcia, your Maryland man, is MS-13.
Okay.
I object.
Have the floor. What do you want to say?
I object because she is misstating the record and the facts. That is not accurate, and therefore I object to that being introduced. There is no.
Mr.
Sir, can
Chairman?
I explain? You let her go on.
Go ahead.
There is no final court order establishing that he's a member. Maybe he is, so you should put all that evidence before a judge, and if he is MS-13, he should be deported. That's what we're talking about, but you're misstating what all of that evidence is.
No, I think I'm going to make a point here. You basically just read what the Attorney General said, correct?
Yes, sir.
You didn't assert that this was a court order, did you? Did you assert that this was a court order?
I read the Attorney General of the United States.
And you have a right on our committee to submit for unanimous consent or a vote if we want to put it to a vote. This for the record, correct? Is that
Yes.
That is correct. Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
she has a right.
Can I review what she is submitting?
No, she can submit something to this committee.
But it matters that she just said she represented exactly what the Attorney General said. She has a document there. I would like to see that document.
Let's make a copy for
see if her
everybody, and we'll vote on. I'm going to hold on just a second. We're going to hold. You're calling for the question? We're calling for the question. The motion to vote on the submission of this for the record. That's all that has been stated. And
I have a parliamentary inquiry, sir.
Do not interrupt me again. We are on the vote on whether or not this can be entered into the record. A motion has been made, and we will vote on that motion. All of those in favor.
I have a parliamentary inquiry before we vote, sir.
Mr. Ranking Member.
It's our request that we object. And in the middle of the objection, you consider a motion, which...
He was done talking about Ms.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. You stopped him from talking.
I just have a parliamentary inquiry.
A parliamentary inquiry. Okay, go ahead. You have the floor.
Is it the procedure of this committee that someone who is making an objection to the admission of evidence cannot review that evidence before we vote on it?
Yeah. Yeah, the content is irrelevant to the motion, and the motion has been made to vote on the submission for the record.
The content is irrelevant? I mean, that's what I'm objecting to. If she is accurate in what her representation is, I will withdraw my objection. I just need to see the document.
Somebody walk the thing over there and let him read it. I mean, get to the bottom of this quickly. We'll hold on your vote.
Mr. Chairman, given that this is a tweet from the Attorney General that is effectively, I believe, consistent with what Ms. Taylor Greene says, I withdraw my objection.
Gentleman withdraws his objection. I now recognize, who's up? Mr. Jimenez for his 5 minutes of questioning.
What you just watched wasn't merely a chaotic hearing moment. It was a snapshot of a far bigger problem: how explosive claims about someone's gang ties can be tossed into public record and political theater without the checks that real justice requires. Let's walk through what happened, why it matters, and what we should take away from it. The Attorney General's message listed law enforcement sources and an immigration judge's prior statements as evidence. But the crucial point everyone in that room was trying to make, and that the objecting Democrats were right to insist on, is that an administrative or prosecutorial claim or an immigration bail decision is not the same as a final criminal conviction or a court order proving gang membership beyond a reasonable doubt. The Attorney General's statement is a government assertion. It is not a substitution for full adversarial legal process. Why does that distinction matter? Because the Abrego Garcia case has become emblematic of how messy and politicized immigration enforcement can be. Federal judges have already suggested that the criminal charges against him may have been brought in a way that looks retaliatory. That's a serious judicial finding that raises real questions about motive and process. That's the kind of thing we should be focusing on, whether the Department of Justice and Immigration Enforcement are following law and due process, or whether they're being used as tools to score political points. There are technical reasons this happens. Immigration proceedings and law enforcement evaluations operate under different standards than criminal trials. Immigration courts often admit a wide range of evidence: police reports, confidential informants, tattoos, social media posts that would be heavily contested or inadmissible in a criminal courtroom. Because of that, allegations of gang affiliation can stick even when the underlying evidence is thin, and the consequences are devastating: denial of protection, detention, or expedited removal. Advocacy groups and legal scholars have repeatedly warned about how loosely gang membership can be alleged and how little standardized proof is required in immigration contexts. This isn't to downplay the reality that MS-13 is a violent transnational gang and that public safety matters. Federal law enforcement has long identified MS-13 as a serious threat. But threats don't erase the need for rigorous, transparent evidence and for independent adjudication. Labeling someone a gang member in a headline or a tweet and then using that label to strip them of legal protections or to justify deportation can lead to wrongful removals and shattered families, while doing little to advance community safety if due process is not followed. Look at the human side. Kilmar Abrego Garcia's case has included claims that he was wrongfully deported, then returned after legal challenges, and that subsequent criminal charges may have been launched in ways that raised judicial concern. The back and forth has left a man and his family in limbo and turned their lives into a political football. That human cost is exactly why we should be alarmed when politicians try to shortcut legal standards for political theater. From a democratic perspective, the response should be threefold. First, insist on due process and independent oversight. Congress must demand full transparency from the Justice Department and ICE about how these allegations are gathered and used, and whether prosecutorial decisions were motivated by policy or politics. Recent judicial signals that a prosecution may have been vindictive make oversight not optional but urgent. Second, defend procedural fairness while supporting public safety. That means robust investigations into violent gangs, resourcing community policing and prosecutions where there's good evidence, and simultaneously ensuring immigration processes don't use vague or unreliable indicators to decide life or death outcomes for people and families. Third, support the workers and legal advocates who keep our promise of fairness. Public defenders, immigration legal service providers, and nonprofits that help people navigate the system when government action risks being arbitrary or retaliatory. Third, support the workers and legal advocates who keep our promise of fairness. Public defenders, immigration legal service providers, and nonprofits that help people navigate the system when government action risks being arbitrary or retaliatory. If you want to do something right now, call or write the members of the committee that held the hearing. Tell them you want a transparent, non-politicized review of how the Department of Justice and ICE are handling this case. Support organizations that provide legal representation to immigrants who otherwise have no defense. And push your elected officials to prioritize oversight, independent, document-driven oversight of prosecutorial decisions that follow high-profile litigation or public fallout. Finally, for viewers, share this explanation if you found it clarifying. When hearings turn into sound bites, the substance gets buried. Help shift the conversation back to the things that actually protect both our communities and our democratic values: evidence, transparency, and due process.